Scott Ritter with the Decorated Apparel Expo.
And you are listening to Two Regular Guys
podcast.
It's
hosted by Terry Combs and Aaron Montgomery.
A gift to the industry.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. It is Friday, June 12th, 2020. I'm Terry Combs, and you can find me at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at rsuccessgroup.com. Today, we're going to welcome in Eric, and here we go. Now you guys are in my head. I'm gonna do this here. Seropyan. Eric Seropyan is going to be joining us to discuss determining the right keywords for SEO. So this is going to be a wonderful conversation here this morning. I'm super excited. Eric actually reached out to us and had seen our podcast, and we really appreciate him doing that. We're excited to share him. He's not technically an industry guy, so it's going to be really cool to get this perspective from somebody outside of our industry a little bit too, because he's a SEO expert. He's actually an instructor, and we'll talk more about that here in a little bit. So this is going to be great. So hopefully you guys have your yellow legal pads. Terry, do you have yours ready to go? Okay, it's good. It's blank too. It's you can fill that bad boy up.
I have another one over here with my grocery list on it for later today.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Well, we've got some folks checking in here this morning. Martha, good morning to you, and Kim Johnson. Happy Friday, and Richard and Christine and Cheryl and our own Eric with an H, hanging out and taking care of the comments. Thank you so much, Eric. Rena, Cindy. Yes. Good morning, everybody. And Christine says, I have a big steno pad. Will that work? Terry, can we allow that?
Yes. I have not heard the term steno pad for 30 years.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, good. Well, thank you guys. Thanks to all the regulators for checking in here this morning. You are in for a treat. It's going to be a great one today. And you're going to learn a lot about improving your SEO. And for those of you that don't know what SEO is, why don't we start there? It's search engine optimization, meaning when you go to Google and say, hey, Google, find a t-shirt supplier near me, do you show up? So anyhow, we'll get into more of that. Terry, first news item here. Hanes brand appoints Stephen B. Bratspies. I'm going to go with that. Bratspies as Chief Executive Officer. North Carolina-based Hanes brand announced that its board of directors appointed Stephen as Chief Executive Officer and board member effective August 3rd. Bratspies, I'm sure I'm butchering it now, brings 25 plus years of retail, digital, and consumer product leadership experience to Hanes. Most recently, he served as the Chief Merchandising Officer at Walmart, where he managed $330 billion in sales, drove a merchandising transformation initiative, and accelerated comp store sales and market share gains. So Walmart guy coming to the industry. So that'll be interesting to see what if any changes happen over there at Hanes.
330 billion in sales. That's more than you and I combined, I think, have handled, Aaron. I'm starting.
I think so. I don't know. I mean, we have to be in that realm, though. It's just for sheer time in the industry.
I guess you added everything up, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It's well, you've got a few years on me, and I feel like I've been doing this forever. So,
it's one
what
of
about
those
you, Terry?
As we mentioned many times, you get into this industry and you can never leave. It's like Hotel California. So.
Oh shoot, we didn't warn Eric about that before he came on. So hopefully,
that's right. Now he's going to be stuck in the industry. He'll probably bail out before we do his bio. But Aaron, I wanted to bring up that the MBM show, their breakaway sessions, announces video class presentations for session 2. Looking for new opportunities, start here. And that's a free online exhibit and educational event on Wednesday, June 24th. Session 2 is designed for shops looking to find new profit centers in the awards, engraving, signage, digital printing, and apparel decorating markets. And we have a link there that I'm sure that Eric's going to pop up on the screen at some point here. And Equipment Zone is going to be one of the virtual exhibitors, and so you'll be able to go there and see my smiling face talking about direct-to-garment printing if you choose to head over there on June 24th. And once they have those sessions, that whole looking for new opportunities up, it stays up for 30 days. So for people that aren't going to be available on June 24th to take a look, they've got till late July to go check it out over at the NBM show.
Excellent. Yeah, that looks like it'll be good, and glad that you'll be there smiling and sharing as per usual. So good stuff.
Exactly.
All right, Terry, this is the moment that everybody's been waiting for. It is dad joke time. So I think you've got a good one for us this week. We are ready when you are.
And as typical dad, I have to take a sip of my coffee before I can tell my dad joke.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready? What do they call all these coronavirus jokes?
I don't know. What do they call them?
It's a pandemic.
Very nice. Yes, very nice. Thank you. Good one. Very good.
That's worthy of Todd, I think. Todd's that sounds like a joke Todd would tell.
Yeah. And it also reminds me of all the jokes I see floating around between Lisa Shaw and Christine actually even posted one. So I think we sucked her into this whole dad joke thing. But so anyhow, all right, Terry. Well, we've got lots of great stuff to talk about. So let's keep moving here.
All right, Aaron, before we dive all the way in, we want to thank everyone for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. If you're listening to this podcast version, we would appreciate you sharing with your friends so they can become regulators too. Plus, we would love and appreciate you giving us a review on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, or wherever you're listening to this show. And we are always looking for new guests. If you or anyone you know would like to join us, go to calendly.com/2. That's the number 2, regular guys, and give us your show ideas. If you are watching us live right now, join in with your comments and questions, and reach out to your industry friends so they can join us too and become regulators right here on Two Regular Guys.
Yeah, indeed. All right, Terry. Well, let's before we jump into SEO here and keywords and all that kind of fun, good information, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor, Impressions Expo. What is Impressions Expo? Impressions Expo, formerly known as ISS, is the premier trade show dedicated to the imprinted and decorated apparel industry. They have 5 shows that are produced annually in each region of the United States, including Long Beach, California, Atlantic City, New Jersey, Orlando, Florida, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and cap off the year at Fort Worth, Texas. Each of those 5 annual shows also feature over 30 seminars and hands-on workshops in categories such as screen printing, embroidery, digitizing, digital decorating, and much, much more. Visit impressionsexpo.com for more details, and while there, use the promo code RegularGuysIE for a free expo pass. Again, make sure you visit impressionsexpo.com to get more details, and the Two Regular Guys look forward to seeing you there. All right. Well, thank you very much to Impressions. Looks like that they're all the information that I've seen and hearing is they're moving forward and really gearing up to make the end of the year here really good. And so hopefully there will be more news coming, but everything's still on as scheduled as far as I've seen. So Terry, you haven't heard anything different, have you?
Yeah, Aaron, I believe this is the first show we've done in probably a month and a half where we haven't had some type of trade show announcement from Impressions Expo, the printwear folks, or the NBM show, or DAX, where we've talked about any changes, cancellations, things like that. So it looks like things are starting to smooth out, and I'm going to fill up Terry's big book of travel for the end of the year.
Yeah, indeed. Okay. All right. Well, Terry, let's get into this here. Let's bring in our guest, and Terry will introduce him for us. I'd appreciate that.
Absolutely. Eric Seropyan is the owner of a digital marketing agency. This is My South Bay, and he is also an instructor at a search engine academy called Orange County Search Engine Academy. Welcome to the show, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Aaron, thank you for making the effort with my last name. You did awesome.
Okay, good. I feel so much better now. Thank you so much. That's
You know,
very
I have
helpful.
to say, I was looking at the intro, and we had a picture of you on the, on the slide to start the show, and I was loving that Atari T-shirt you were wearing.
Those were the days.
I'm sure we
Yeah.
have listeners who say, Atari, what's that?
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts me a little bit to think about that, but yes, that's probably true.
Yeah.
All right, Eric. Well, we've got a lot of things that we're looking to cover. We appreciate you spending some time with us here this morning and sharing your knowledge with our community. But start us off with the number one myth you typically have to dispel when it comes to, you mentioned that you're a teacher at Academy and teaching people or just talking about SEO. What's that thing that most people think that they get wrong?
Well, SEO, short for search engine optimization, is where you're looking for free traffic to your business from Google. It's a game changer for small businesses. If you can have that traffic coming into your business, it's going to change everything. So there are things that Google is looking for, and one thing is consistency. So with social media, sometimes people think there's this magic hashtag that all of a sudden you put that hashtag and everyone's going to see you, and same with Google and SEO. There isn't this magic bullet. You have to be consistent. If you're going to post 50 times in a year, don't do all 50 January 1st and nothing the rest of the year. You need to be consistent with it. So it's not like turning on an engine to a car. It doesn't happen right away. It takes time to do it. And you're fighting for that real estate on Google. So consistency. People think that you just spin up a site and then it's good to go. And that's generally not how it works.
Yeah. And which has got to be really tough in your line of work then, because people come to you and say, oh, you got to fix this SEO. And then a week later, they're like, nobody's here yet. And it's like, hold on.
We have that discussion in the very beginning. Expectations we need to manage. So it's one of those things where over time, when it happens, it's a beautiful thing. But it takes time. It takes time, and you're constantly fighting other people that are trying to do the same thing. So it's good to have an understanding of it. The school that I teach at, many of them have their business to run. They're not looking to do this, but they want to understand it. So they'll come in and they'll learn it because they got tired of people coming in from locally to India, coming in and saying, I can rank you, and then having them be disappointed. They want to know what to look for, what the reports mean, what's a success, what's a failure, like what's going on. And it's good to know that, have that knowledge.
Yeah. Well, we had 7 people log off when you said this is not magic. So
come back.
It's funny because every time we do a show and we talk about how to develop your business, do this and that, we always say, no, there's work involved. There's some work you have to do. So,
exactly.
And a lot of people don't want to hear that, but yeah, that's the fact. And, let's talk about getting ranked. We always hear that when we're talking about, people's websites and attracting people. What are the top factors that contribute to a website getting ranked?
Well, to get ranked, there's a couple of things that you have to cover. The first thing we just talked about as far as being consistent. As funny as it sounds, your social media is important. Whether your social media is growing, what's your engagement rate on social media? Are you posting once a year, once a month? Again, consistency with social media. You have 100 followers January. By June, if you have 95 and you're not posting, or when you're posting, no one is liking it or commenting on it, they use that as Google uses that as an indicator. What people are talking about you online, your Yelp reviews, your Facebook reviews, Yelp reviews, what people are saying about you on Facebook, even though they're not reviewing you, Google is listening to all of this. Google is kind of playing detective, trying to piece together what type of business you are to give a good search result to its users. Another one is link building. Link building is when, let's say I write an article about your company and then I give you a clickable link from my website to yours. So that's the more websites you have pointing to your website, the better off you're going to be. So it's almost like I'm vouching for you. So I'm giving you a link from my website to yours. And if my domain authority is high, if I have a good website, the better the websites are that are linking to you, the better off you're going to be. Yeah. So I would start with those.
Okay. Those are some great tips. I didn't realize how much Google had used social media. And I love when you mention, you call it Google kind of being a detective. That's a really great way to look at it. You're basically, Google's trying to understand what your reputation is because they want to present to their customers. Their customers are people that are searching for stuff. They want to present to their customers reputable companies. That's really a really interesting way to look at that. I love that. Thanks, Eric.
The big difference between Google and other search engines that have come and gone is that Google is user-centric. So Google is, their main purpose is to deliver the best possible search results to their users. It's not the advertiser. So I'll give you an example. I do Google ads for clients. We have a keyword that we want to target. Sometimes Google will not even sell us the traffic for that keyword for that website. Let's say the top bid is $5 and we put 10. They won't even sell it. They want to make sure that that website matches that keyword. And if it doesn't, they won't even, so if they're not selling it, they're not going to rank you for it. So their whole purpose is, we want to make sure that the user is happy, because if, let's say I'm looking for a tire shop in Phoenix and I get a donut shop in Cleveland, if that happens too often, I'm going to move to Yahoo or Bing or to another search engine. That's why everyone first goes to Google, makes sure that they do their search there. And then if they can't find it, sometimes they go to other search engines, which is kind of rare, but it happens. Yeah. But that's what makes Google special, is that it's thinking of the user first and the advertiser second. Back in the day, many search engines gave it a try, including Yahoo. And Yahoo, you could go in and put a top bid for a keyword that had nothing to do with your business. And you would get all kinds of traffic coming to your website. And it was irrelevant. You would go to Yahoo, search for, a pizza shop in your town, and you would get a pizza shop in another town 100 miles away. It wasn't clean traffic. It wasn't good traffic. And that's what's, I think, the big difference, the secret sauce for Google and why they've been around, and looks like they're going to be around for a while.
Yeah, that definitely seems like they've got a pretty strong hold on the market. So, so Eric, you mentioned keywords as you were talking there. So that's a perfect segue for this question for you. It seems a big part of good SEO is focusing on specific keywords. But how the heck should we go about determining what keywords to focus on for our business?
That's a good question. Generally, what I do is when I'm going to work with a client, is we take a look at two things. We do a competitor analysis and we do a keyword analysis. So if there are certain tools where we use, one of the ones that I use is called SEMrush. And there's others like SpyFu and Ahrefs and Majestic SEO and so on. There's many of them out there. So basically we take the competitors and we put them through these apps and see which keywords that our competitors are ranked for. So the report comes back with they're ranked for this keyword. They're number 7, let's say, for that keyword. That keyword gets an average of 100 searches a month, and we can kind of put together a strategy instead of taking a pencil to a notepad and trying to come up with keywords that would work for our business. We see what our competitors are doing. Everything is open source, so you can see behind the curtain. If you know how to look for it, where to look for it, you can see what your competitors are doing. So then we take those 10 or 20 competitors, we make one master list, and then we can kind of look at the keywords and see which ones apply to us. Now, you want to go after, in the beginning, it would be better to go after keywords that have higher search volume and lower competition. So generally, that's the long tail keywords. Like, for example, let's say jewelry. If you go after the keyword jewelry, Is it a watch? Is it pearl, opal? Is it an engagement ring? Is it a wedding band? So if you have a keyword that is, let's say, men's platinum diamond wedding band, it may only get 100 searches a month, but that's going to be very clean traffic coming to your website if that's what you're selling. So your conversion rate is going to be higher as opposed to just putting jewelry. So these reports give you kind of an idea of what to go after.
Yeah. That's great. We talk a lot on this program about niching down and having a focused niche and that kind of thing. And so this fits perfectly into that, because yes, if you're just saying I sell t-shirts to everybody, that's going to be hard to get ranked, right, for t-shirts. But if you're saying, in Scottsdale, Arizona, school spirit wear, that might be a little easier to get
Perfect.
to, right?
Perfect. And you can see who else is ranking for that. Your competitor, let's say you're number 5 and your competitor is number 1. You can take a look at their landing page, see what they're doing different. And, maybe they have 500 words on their landing page. You only have 50. That may be an indicator to kind of massage that landing page to kind of bring up the ranking a little bit. Everything is, open online. So you could see what your competitors are doing. And you can see the links coming in to your competitors, which I'll get into. But as far as the keywords go, you don't need millions of people visiting your website. You need the right traffic coming in.
That's a great point.
And that's what the keyword analysis helps with.
Perfect.
People search for, lots of things. This morning I was searching for how to get rid of calcium deposits from hard water. And but people do it in a lot of different ways now, on your desktop, on your mobile devices, by voice. How do you look at keywords that might be different from one device, one method to the next?
Well, there's a couple ways to do that. If you run Google Ads, you can see where the clicks are coming in from, whether it's from desktop, tablet, etc. Mobile. Mobile's the big one. So you can see that. You can actually, there's this tool that a lot of people use. It's called Google Analytics. You can see where the traffic is coming in from, where they're leaving from, where the landing pages are, which apps they're using, which devices they're using. There was something just the other day with a client where there was a big part of their traffic that it was just bouncing. They were coming and leaving. And so when we looked at it, you can break it down by device. So it'll show, Apple, 100 people came in from their iPhone today, and 90 of them stayed and 10 of them left, etc. So when we looked at this one device, I forget what it was, but they were losing all the sales. Nobody was staying on the site, and so we forwarded that over to the client's tech person, their webmaster, to take a look at, to make sure that that website was a good fit with that operating system, with that phone. So these are all things that you need to watch out for, and then or somebody needs to watch out for, and then present it to the website maintenance company or person to be able to fix it. It's an easy fix, but there's a lot of detail. We had something like this a couple weeks ago with a e-commerce site where there were a lot of people that were getting to the very final part to put in their credit card, and then they were abandoning. And so when we looked at it, it turned out that, because we would see on the flow that they're leaving at that page. There's something on Google Analytics that's the exit page, top exit page, and that page kept coming up. And so we looked, and the credit card, for whatever reason, there was some kind of error, and there was disruption between the credit card, the merchant, and the company. And so we went ahead and contacted the credit card company to make sure that they were able to fix that, or else they were missing out on sales. And the longer that only went for a couple of days, but they lost a lot of sales in that time frame.
And without being able to analyze that, you might just think, well, gosh, this people just don't want to buy our product or whatever without realizing, yeah, we're trying. And people don't have a lot of patience for that either, I don't think. If I go in and I'm trying to enter my security code and I try to enter it 3 times and it doesn't work, all of a sudden I start losing interest in making that purchase,
Yeah, and you leave.
Chances are with me, I was doing it on a whim anyway.
And then you just leave.
Yeah.
So another big indicator for Google is the speed of the site. So if it takes too long to load, people lose interest.
Mm-hmm.
And we have maybe a second or two where it's just, if it's loading, it takes too long to load, we just go to the next website. And so that's not a good user experience. And Google is tracking that. And so your ranking goes down. So these are things that, you have to run reports every so often. Every time you play detective as a marketer, you're playing detective, because if certain indicators go up or down, you want to make sure that it's for the right reasons, not for other things. Like if the ranking goes down, it could be just that something happened to the website and the load time went up and the ranking went down. It could be something as simple as that sometimes.
We talked about a week or two ago about playing detective on your own website, and the fact that it's not really you that should be playing detective. It should be your cousin Jim, who knows nothing about your product. It should be on there playing detective, because it's easy for us to go in there and type in and go, okay, well, I know this, and this already, and you skip over, you miss the fact that there's an issue there that it's got to be fresh eyes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Almost like an unofficial focus group.
Right.
Yeah. Or have an expert like Eric jump in there, and
Exactly.
that's always the real way to go. So,
right.
Eric, we know that the SEO world's ever changing. I'm sure you're constantly trying to keep up to speed with Google, and others really kind of don't really make it clear all the time as to what is causing something to be ranked higher than another. But how can, we just mentioned, working with somebody like yourself, but what are some of the other benefits to working with a person like yourself to improve your website and the traffic and the ultimate goal of getting sales?
Well, you're right. Google doesn't have like a best practices kind of list. They don't tell you when the algorithm is changing. They're not interested in teaching you what they're looking for. They want you to do your business, and then they'll judge you accordingly. Because if they laid out exactly how they wanted it, everybody would do that, and that would be the end of that. So, the important thing is it's always changing, and unless you're in it and you're going to be doing it often and consistently, it would be better to give it to a company, or even just consult someone on a weekly basis or monthly basis, saying, I did this. What do you think? How does it look? Can we look at my reports? Just someone that's almost like a sounding board, even if it's, there are business coaches. I do consulting for companies where I talk to them. We run reports through the apps that I mentioned, and then we take a look at it and we see, we spend an hour just talking like this on Zoom or whatever, and go over the reports. We screen share it and we look at it, and they do the work. They want to be in on it. Other people, they would rather just give it to a company and have them deal with it. So someone has to take control of the situation for sure.
Yeah. So Terry, I'm going to interrupt real quick. Sorry. But when we're talking about some of the stuff you mentioned, Google Analytics and setting some of that stuff up, and I think that's another area where people kind of, I know for me, I know I don't use Google Analytics to its full ability, and I know I don't have it set up the fully correct way. What does that look like? I mean, is there some tips in there? I mean, obviously getting somebody like yourself to get that stuff in place is probably the best thing to do, but what are some tips in that area?
Well, as far as Google Analytics and, building out websites, I'm not a webmaster. So I have people that do that work for me. And let's say you have a website and you might have someone that maintains it. This is something that it's just a simple code that would go into the website to connect the analytics to the website. And then after that, it's a matter of reading the reports. And so you want to make sure that everything is, you understand everything that's going on, whether it's, a lot of times what I do is I add a third element to it, or another element to it, which is conversions. So we want to know, and a conversion can be a form fill, it could be a subscription to email, it could be a sale, it could be a phone call, whatever you designate it to be. And so that's, these are things that it takes a little bit of programming to do. But if your webmaster is building out websites, this is a simple exercise for them to do. And then after that, you want to see, where the traffic is coming in from, where it's converting from, where they're leaving, so that you can take, let's say Facebook is booming and Instagram is not, you can just take the money that you're spending on Instagram and double up on Facebook, and so on. Same with the Google campaigns, same with the search engine optimization. You write a blog post and you get ranked very well for it. You see what kind of blog post it is so that you can do more of those types. It could be that the 500-word blog post is not doing well, but the 1,000-word, or the one that has a picture versus the one that has a video. There's different ways to see. You kind of mix it up. You do trial and error. You see what's working, and then you lean into the campaigns that are working. And unfortunately, it's a moving target. So it could be that what's working now might not be working 3 years from now. So you're constantly fighting for that precious traffic that's coming in from Google.
Yeah.
Well, so when you talk about these efforts working, how do you know when, first of all, your SEO efforts are working, and how do I know when your service moves the needle for me? I mean, how do I see the difference?
Yes, I had up until a couple of years ago, there were some industries that I would work with, namely in healthcare, dentists, podiatrists, etc., where we would have a schedule of things that we're going to do for my consulting fee, and so I would do the work. We would get the ranking. Everything would be going in the right direction, and they would sit me down and say, "Well, we're getting phone calls before you, and we don't know if it's working or not," which is kind of a valid, concern. And so I started to do, for certain industries, I started to do where I run my own campaigns. I do my own SEO. I go and get a call tracking software, and I plug it into Google Analytics. So let's say I run a SEO campaign. When you find that company from my campaign, it will come up with a different phone number, even though it's the same number, but it's a virtual number. So when you call from that virtual number, it will designate it as coming in from that campaign. So that way, I'm able to show, this month you got 15 phone calls from Facebook, 100 from Google Organic, et cetera, et cetera. So we can at that point separate the two sides. To give you an example, there was a company that I took on recently where they were getting about, I think about 20 phone calls a day, and they were happy with it. Now we're getting about, aside from what they're doing, extra from our working with them, they're getting about 75 phone calls a day.
Wow.
And so there's no confusion about it, because
Right.
we have the call tracking software. They can listen to the phone calls, so they can say, wait a second, out of the 75 coming in, 70 of them are telemarketing or are not relevant to what we're selling, et cetera. So they can look at it, they can audit it. I have someone listen to it and grade the phone calls. So it's very clean traffic that's coming in. They know what's coming in, and they can decide for themselves their return on investment for the campaign. There's a local company here for a dentist that I do work for. I charge them for a phone call that's over, to give you an idea, so you can kind of do the math for whatever business. I charge them $100 for every unique phone call that's over a minute and a half. So in the first minute and a half, you know that Either it's a telemarketing call or it's a wrong number or something. So if they can close 1 out of 2, 1 out of 3 of those calls, it's going to cost them $200 to $350, $200 to $350 per new client. For dentists, they're pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
And so you can work with your marketer on some kind of a result-based structure also. Because a lot of times people with SEO, it's not quantifiable until very recently. So it's difficult to figure out, did I make a return on investment? Do I need to keep this person on? They're telling me I'm ranked. I don't know what's going on. So it's a little bit confusing. And I feel like as time goes on with digital marketing, it went from selling banner space to selling impressions, selling clicks. And now in time, it's going to go more towards, result-based, whether it's a sale, whether it's someone subscribing to their email list, downloading their app, making the sale, generating the phone call, form fill, 20 different ways of what would be considered a conversion for a company.
Yeah. And I think that's really important to think about, is that, what is important to you? It's one thing to, I want to improve my SEO, but if you have no real goal or plan behind it, it doesn't do you a whole lot of good, so you have to understand what it is that you want to have happen when somebody comes to your site. Are they supposed to make a call to you? Are they supposed to, like I said, fill out a form? If you've got an e-commerce site, are they supposed to buy now? That kind of thing. So, really good info there. Eric, I don't know if you can share any more. We've got a regular coming to us from all around the world, and I will get the name wrong as usual, but Gosta from Sweden is what I'm going with here. Sweden part I got, but Gosta, if I'm messing up your name, I apologize. But can you share any more information kind of about the virtual phone number, that call tracking that you were mentioning?
Sure. You can there's a company that I use often. It's called Web Call Tracking. And so I think they charge like a couple bucks a month per phone number. Because a lot of times what I do is I want to see where the phone calls are coming in from. So I'll set up a number for, let's say, Google Organic, Google Paid, Facebook, Instagram, other whatever number. Like I want to make sure that the traffic that's coming in, where is it coming in from? So if we're wasting our money with Facebook, I'm going to cut Facebook out and then double up on other platforms that are working better. So if you get 5 or 10 phone numbers, I think that's more than enough. And then I don't want to tell you prices, but I think it's a couple bucks a month. And then sometimes they charge like a per minute fee to do that. But you have your main number, whether it's your cell phone or your landline, whatever it is, that's your main, that's where it's gonna, the number is gonna, that's where it's gonna ring.
Gotcha.
So we wanna just make sure that if I go in from a campaign from Google Ads, it's gonna have a different number that shows up that I click call on my cell phone or whatever. So you wanna make sure that you have different numbers. In time, you may take certain numbers away because these numbers are not, they're not yours. You have just the main number that you're working with. And
Gotcha.
Inside of that platform, you can give that phone call a grade, 1 star, 5 up to 5 stars usually. You can have comments. Like it could be that you're running campaigns. I'll use the jewelry example again. Let's say you run a ad and you have the phone call comes in, it's a 4 star, they set up an appointment, they're coming in, it's not converted yet. And then they're looking for engagement ring. The next one is looking for a wedding band. The next one is looking for pearl. And at some point when the data is adding up, you can see what people are calling for or what the form fills are about.
Yeah.
And so that helps. And so you can see which keywords, it's just more data. The more data you have, the better chance you have to make a good decision. That's why some of the apps that I use are invaluable. You need to have it. It costs me $99 a month for SEMrush. It costs me $100 for this one, $200 for that one a month. But in time, those things save a lot of money. And then I take the data from Google Analytics. I take the data from my Google Ads campaigns. The Google Ads campaigns are, if you want to get data, you have to do some Google Ads. So a lot of times what you do is when you do your campaign, Google will give you a keyword ad score. So it will say for this keyword, 10 being the highest and 0 the lowest, it will give you a score for that keyword. So if you have like a 0, 1, 2, don't even bother. Go back and fix that landing page, beef it up, look at what your competitors are doing, and try to fix that page before you try to optimize or buy the traffic from Google. Yeah. A lot of times, if you have a higher rank, let's say you have a page rank 8, I could pay, if I have page rank 8, let's say I pay $1 for that click, and you have a page rank 2, you'll pay $8 for that click. So again, Google is trying to give the best possible search result to the user. So it would rather sell me all the inventory, but if there's leftover, then it'll sell it to you for more expensive. And if you're ranked very low, it won't even sell it to you.
Gotcha.
So these are all, again, I'm playing detective on what's working. Google is playing detective. We're trying to figure out, where our place is in all of this.
Yeah, no, that's great. Those are great analogies and great information there. Had a question a lot earlier on that I skipped over, and Eric Campbell, I don't know if you could go back and find it from Vic, but I remember it. What's your, there we go. Wow, this guy on it. What about Google My Business? What do you use it?
I use it, absolutely. So that's something that fits, it feeds directly into Google. So when you do this is for more often than not for local businesses. So, if you have a local business, it feeds right into there, and it's just like posting on Facebook or posting on Instagram or whatever. You can post on Google My Business also. So it's another way to get Google's attention. Every time you post something on your blog post on your website, it pings Google. So the more often you do it, the better it's going to be. And again, consistency. If you're going to do 52 times, do it once a week. Don't do it all in 1 month. Same with link building. We didn't touch on link building, but I'll kind of give you an idea. I use the same apps and the same thinking for link building as I do for keyword research. I put in the competitors into the search box of SEMrush, for example, and others. And I see where my competitors are getting their links from. So that way we can reach out to those same directories, bloggers, whatever the case may be, and ask for a link. So that way we can do at least what they're doing and then do more. So in time, again, if you get 100, let's say you have a website, you don't have any links, and then in July you have 500 coming in. And then in August you have nothing again. It's more going to be a negative thing than a good thing. Consistency, always, doing things consistently.
Nice. Okay. Great information. It's Team Eric today. We've got another Eric, another spelling of Eric here. Eric asks, how does Facebook Live fit into SEO? Does it boost your company's website?
Well, Facebook Live is, it's good if you can take that live that you do and somehow integrate it with your website. And the first part of it is that, Google is looking at your interaction. So on Facebook, let's say you have 100 followers and none of which watched it. So for your SEO, that's not going to be a good thing. So if you have 100 followers and you have a 5-10% engagement rate, or even a 3% engagement rate, and there are people following it, watching it, then it's going to be a good thing for your SEO. And live is better than like a regular post. So it's for your SEO purposes. So that part of it is good. If you can integrate that with your website, if you can take that live when it's done and take that and put that video on your website also, that creates content. Yep. So if you can do those two things, it's a very good start.
Yeah. That's a really good tip. What we've done and what's worked for us is, yes, this will be here on Facebook or you check it on YouTube, but then after it's over, we post a post to our website with the show notes, and again, that's embedded in there, that's linked in there, it's content, like you said. So,
and you're doing like an hour show roughly, right?
Yep.
So it's about an hour. So this is going to be several thousand word article if you were to transcribe this into a blog post, because some people like to read it, other people like to watch it, other people like to listen to it. So if you can kind of hit all the audiences, you have a better chance of converting, optimizing, etc.
Oh, interesting. We've not done the transcribing piece yet, so that's a really interesting point. Cool.
That's a cool way to create content, because I've had clients where try to talk to a doctor and say create content for me. They don't know what to do. But you can do this. You can call them and Zoom and screen share, or you can take a microphone over to them and sit and interview them. With a still picture, not necessarily a video, but create an audio file because some people are not comfortable in front of the camera.
Sure.
And so you talk for 15 minutes, and whatever industry you're in, it. You can just close your eyes and talk. Yeah. So if you identify a keyword that you want to rank for, you can talk about that for 10 or 15 minutes. That's about 1,000-word blog article that you just created. And so you take that content and you use it for your SEO campaign.
That's awesome. Wow. Great tips.
A great idea.
Great. Yeah. Great tips. Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, Eric, we've gotten a lot of great information from you. Thank you so much. If any of the regulators do have any last minute questions for Eric, we'll try to get those in front of them. But tell us a little bit more about you. Tell us about where people can find out more, where they can connect with you. Sure. I know for me, it's I'm going to race over and see who can become your client first here. So I want to get there.
Thank you. Well, they can go to my website. It's called thisismysouthbay.com. South Bay happens to be a suburb of Los Angeles that I have lived in for a majority of my life. And so I just named the company, This Is My South Bay. If they like, they can click on the book now. There's a app that pops up for a 15-minute consultation. I'd be happy to go over any questions that they have. We can schedule a time to look at their ranking, their competitors, to whatever questions they have. I'd be happy to go over it with them. And that's it. That's the easiest way to find me.
Excellent. So we've got it in the comments on both YouTube and Facebook here. So This Is My South Bay. In fact, Eric, it looks like it's pretty darn beautiful there in the background in the South Bay. Is that pretty much common of your world?
Well, I don't know my world, but I'm a little bit spoiled. I love the beach. It's a beach area. If anyone is familiar with visiting Los Angeles, it's LAX when you're flying over the ocean as you're flying out. It's to the left, to the south, along the beach. It's mostly a beach community. And nice. So one of the things that I try to teach people is to create your own community on the World Wide Web. So to create whatever it is, like in your case, you have a community of businesses that are similar. What I've done is I've gone after geographically. So in the South Bay area, there's a little bit less than 1 million people that live in the area there. And I have about 35,000 of them on my social media. So about 20,000 on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, the remainder. So if you have a small business, you want to make sure that you geo-target your following, make it relevant. There's a lot of people that ask me, can I just buy 100,000 followers on Instagram and then, pay $50 for it and, we're good to go. But again, what's the end game to that? It's not going to do you any good. Those people are not going to buy. In time, they're going to leave because they're fake. And thirdly, and most importantly, is Instagram knows who those people are, those fake followers. So it raises a flag with Instagram that you are not taking them seriously. So when you decide to post, Instagram is less likely to show your post because you are not taking their platform seriously. So you did nothing good for your business. Might as well have 200 followers, but they are actual followers and they're engaging and you engage them and you figure out ways to help them like with the South Bay, if there's a fundraising event going on, if there's a church charity, if there's a whatever it is, a small business that needs a shout out or whatever on stories, I always post things. With the COVID, we're posting where the pop-up test centers were and, things like that, just because it's such a community base that they know when I say at the corner of PCH and Pacific Coast Highway and this, they know where it is. It's relevant to them. They're engaged. They're staying in it. So, and also that helps, the company's algorithm because it's my social media is engaging. So if you have a small business and you have a small community, but they're engaged, they're wishing you happy birthday, or they're wishing you happy anniversary of your business, or you have a sale, you have whatever message you're putting out there, they're engaged, they're interested in you as a person and your business. Because a lot of times we're buying from the person when it comes to a small business. We're not necessarily, if it's Costco or whatever, it's different. But your small businesses, generally there's some emotion behind it.
Right. Yeah, totally. Well, Eric, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time, and definitely everybody get over there, check him out, get signed up for a consultation there. I know we're leaving a few questions in the comments there. So Eric, if you had a chance to pop in there and share, that would be awesome. But I think just getting in touch with you and scheduling that consultation will be a wonderful thing to do. All right, Eric, have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks, sir.
Bye-bye.
Awesome, man. That was a ton of great information here.
Yeah, you've got your yellow legal pad. I can't really show you. I'm going to turn my camera, but I've got a dry erase wall to my left here, and I'm left-handed. So just take my little dry erase pen and scribble away.
I was definitely jotting down notes. So
yeah, for sure. For sure. Awesome. All right, Terry, let's there's been a lot of Erics today. I love it. It's Team Eric today across the board.
I think it was interesting that we had 3 different spellings on the show today.
Yeah, very nice. Yes, for sure. So speaking of Eric's, Eric Campbell, it's ERICH, so you can find him. Let's see here. First, we'll talk about it again because I think this is really good information, and it's there, it's recorded. I think if you're an embroiderer and you're looking to take your digitizing to the next level, you need to check out Eric's Demystifying Next Level Digitizing webinar. It's recorded, so he talks about better running, bolder, more beautiful embroidery with a faster cycle time from concept to completion. I am obviously not a digitizer or an embroiderer, and I actually learned a ton of stuff from it. So it is, it's really impressive and really well done. So you can check that out over at, if you go to bit.ly/EricDD, and that's ERICHDD. So check that out. It's there linked in the comments as well. And then Eric has his Take Up program that we were fortunate enough to be a part of a bonus episode last Monday, but his typical Take Up is Fridays, 2:30 Mountain Time. So what's that? That's 3:30 in Central Time for those of you that I'm kidding. All right. So 2:30 Mountain, 1:30 on the West Coast and Terry time.
Right. West Coast in Phoenix.
Yep. 3:30 Central and 4:30 Eastern time. Let's see here. Today, it's all about breaking down big projects and designs. So you can catch that over on his Facebook page at facebook.com/Eric.Campbell. And that's again, ERICH.Campbell. And you can check that out over there. So make sure you're tuning in and tell him the Two Regular Guys sent you, so he knows that we do love him and care about sending people his way. What about you, Terry? What's coming up for you?
Well, Aaron, as I mentioned before, June 24th, Equipment Zone will be involved in the MBM show, June 24th event. How to take advantage of the opportunities coming forth today, and so we'll have a virtual trade show booth there. I have upcoming complete screen printing business courses, and apparently some of the classes at different locations are starting to happen. So these dates are definitely firming up. My class at Workhorse Products in Phoenix, August 22nd and 23rd. And I'll be in Chicago at Atlas Green Supply September 19th and 20th. You can find those classes and all my upcoming events. And nothing changed this week, Aaron. I didn't have to update my website at all, but you can go to terrycombs.com under the tab tour dates to find where I'm going to be and how to get a hold of those different venues. How about you, Aaron?
Well, not a ton of news. I think the big thing to report, just so we were supposed to have the Decorators Community virtual party tonight, but I think everybody has, I'm not able to do it, and we're not able to kind of make it happen. So we're going to cancel that. We'll kind of see if we can round up another time at a different time. You know, it was wonderful and it's been a lot of fun, and we really appreciate everybody being there. And so I feel bad about it. I can't pull it off tonight myself, and everybody else has got stuff going on. I know Todd's got family stuff happening. You're unavailable, Eric, all that kind of fun stuff. So I apologize to those folks. I know last time during the Decorators Community Party, we talked about doing it again, and people were in. So apologize.
You know, I think since Todd got involved in illegal golf cart street racing, you know, he's never available anymore. So
yeah. It's really gone downhill since then. So, so anyhow, I apologize for that. For those of you that were looking forward to that, we will do it again. Just got to figure out a different, better time. And so that's first announcement. Ghosta mentioned about Sweden. Yeah, I have no idea what time the take-up's going to be in Sweden. Eric, Eric, can you figure that out for us? I'm throwing. Yep.
Aaron probably knows what time it is in Iceland right now, so you can just extrapolate from there. So.
Nice. All right, and then the other thing of mention for me is a program we call the Success Tracker over at oursuccessgroup.com. So if you want to check that out, you just go to oursuccessgroup.com/ST for Success Tracker. And this is just a program that we put together. It's a great way to kind of hold yourself accountable. It's a way that you can say, here's what my 12-month goal is. You know, so maybe your 12-month goal is to increase your SEO ranking or something along those lines. But whatever your goal is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to necessarily be business related. But we're going to support it. And what happens is you get in, you pay the $20. That's your kind of skin in the game. You're going to get lots of little fun stuff, some swag, different stuff along the way. You're going to get support from the community, and just something fun that we really think is going to help people achieve their goals. Because our goal over at Our Success Group is pretty singularly focused. So it's to provide resources that empower over 1,000 businesses to achieve their idea of success. So we just came up with this as a great way to get people in and started and realizing that, yes, you can achieve whatever you want. You just got to keep making those consistent, as Eric said today, consistent incremental changes. So,
and also it's not magic, apparently. So
it's not magic. And so Todd says, I got a new cart. It already broke. New motor, batteries, controller, cables on the way. Oh man, it's cart city over there. So Todd, you're taking the blame for. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so that's what I've got going on. Terry, we are actually done in time today.
I know we haven't done this forever. This is
yeah.
I'm still going to pretend. So if anybody at Equipment Zone's listening, I'm going to be done in about 15 minutes. So.
Okay, all right. Well, Terry, we have come to the close of another show. Thanks to all the regulators for their participation and being here and checking us out live. We also want to thank Eric very much. Please make sure you go check him out at thisismysouthbay.com. Wonderful information. Like I said, somebody that regardless of where, I was really excited to bring him in because he isn't in our industry,
right?
And I wanted to get a different perspective. And so I think having that fresh perspective will actually help a lot. So I'm excited to hear your guys' the regulator's success with working with Eric.
Fantastic. And we want to thank our show producer, Eric Campbell. And you can find him at ericcampbell.com. And thanks to our show sponsor, Impressions Expo.
Yep. And Terry, next week we will be turning the mics over to Christine Shreve, our resident awesome boss, come up with some adjectives. She's been the kind of pseudo producer, writer, the whole thing. She's been a huge supporter of Two Regular Guys, and this is her quarterly Women in Our Industry podcast. And she emailed us what the topic was going to be, and it just left my brain. Terry, do you remember it all?
I believe it was selling to women, I believe.
Yep, marketing to
women. Yeah.
Yep. So really good stuff. So we're excited to have her take over next week. So make sure you're tuning in for that. And I think that should do it for us, though, Terry.
All right. Look at us. Exactly on time. So until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And we are the Two Regular Guys. Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.